doing today? Oh, yeah, we were just on the phone. Well, it's so nice to meet you in person. My name is Victoria. Yeah, so like I was saying, it's a really quiet day here today, and if you want, I'm more than happy to go through some of these books with you and help you make your selections. Yeah, so why don't you go ahead and take a seat? Is there anything that I can get you? Okay. Well, I took some notes earlier, actually, on the books that you were interested in, and I pulled a few of them. I have them right here. So I figured what we could do is I'll go through some of the books with you, let you know kind of what they're about and their content, and if there are any that I really recommend. And then I was going to show you some of their physical features. Since it's a used bookstore, of course, you want to know what you're getting into and what the condition of the books are. So I'll show you any flaws or things that you might want to consider. And then I figured if you want any of them, since you're planning to make a bigger purchase today, I can pack them up and have them delivered right to your home. Oh yeah, no, I would not want to take the train home with a big pile of books either, definitely, and we're really happy to do that for you. So since I have all of them here, why don't we just go ahead and get started right away? Okay, so I have here, you were looking for a novel to read on your upcoming vacation, which, by the way, congratulations, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And then you were also looking for a non-fiction book that you could use to find something a little bit more challenging that broadens your horizons. And then you were also looking for a graphic novel or an art book, and something that you could kind of have out on your shelf. Looks nice, definitely. So let's go ahead and start with the novels. I have them right near me here. And the first one that I'm going to show you is Thomas Pynchon's Inherent Vice. This is a soft cover, and all of the novels that I have for you today are soft covers, since I figured that would be a little bit easier for your travels. This one is in pretty good condition. Like any used books, you'll find some small flaws on their pages or within them, but this one is legible, not missing any major things, and it doesn't even really have a ton of wear and tear on the spine here. Oh yeah, you've seen the movie. I would say that there is still worth reading if you have seen it. It was a great movie, but there's definitely just a lot of things that can't fully come through in film that just show up a lot better in a novel. Yeah, this is the novel edition of it. It's newer. And I'm a big fan of him. This was one of his later career ones, but I actually think that it's my favorite by him. Yeah, he still has it. Part noir, part psychedelic romp, all Thomas Pynchon. Private Eye Doc Sportello surfaces occasionally out of a marijuana haze to watch the end of an era. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and then at the end you can just list off all the ones that you're interested in, or if there's any that you would like to look at again, just let me know and I'll put them back out for you. Okay. Let's go ahead and move right into our next one. So I have here a weightier novel, both physically and probably in terms of content. This one is Roberto Bolaño's 2666. I think this is a really special edition of a book. I absolutely love the cover on this one. And yeah, I think it's a pretty special book in its own right. It's the kind of novel that makes an impression on a lot of people. And it might be a little long and on the heavier side for vacation reading, but if you're one of those people that likes to really lose themselves in something they're reading when they're on vacation, I think it would be a really, really good choice. It's pretty emotional though, so be forewarned. And this is another one that's in very good condition. You'll see there's some minor wear on the corners and on the edges, but mostly it is almost like new. Again, we see no marks on the pages. There's some light highlighting, but you may not even come across it flipping through it. I feel like the pages have a really nice quality to them. They're very soft and pliable. Yeah, and the only issue that you might run into on this one would be that it would be a little bit heavier to carry it around. Okay, so you're interested, but you're a little worried about buying it now. That's okay, I'm still going to put it aside just in case you do end up being interested. But I have a couple others to show you. I actually have 3 more novels right here. So this next one I have here is almost the midpoint between a novel and a true nonfiction book. This one is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This one's a classic, definitely an older novel. If you are interested in true crime, you should definitely be interested in this because this was kind of the godfather of all of that. I really enjoy the quality that the cover of this has. It's sort of this matte-like look that I think has made it a bit more durable. I love these creepy eyes we have right here on the cover. This one is a remarkable, tensely exciting, moving, superbly written, true account. In my experience, that is exactly what I would call it. This one is probably the one in the best condition I'm going to show you today as far as novels. Very few flaws. The only thing that I noticed was this slight bit of wear at the top of the spine and a little bit here in this upper right corner. But overall, you're going to find this one's really intact, has a really nice feel. Definitely, I think it hits that midpoint of salacious yet exciting that is perfect for what you're looking for. Okay, you're definitely going to go with that one, then I'm going to make sure that it's right here for when we want to pull those out. Yeah, I'll absolutely still show you the other 2. I could probably read 2 books in that week as well, especially you'll have all that time by the pool and stuff. So the next one I pulled is the first book in one of my favorite series. This is Stephen King's The Dark Tower. Okay, yeah, you're a Stephen King fan too, but you've never read The Dark Tower. I would definitely recommend checking it out. He's a little bit more well known for his horror, of course, but I think that his fantasy writing is actually really underrated. And this is an excellent book. It's a very fast read. It comes in only at about 250 pages, and you'll see that a lot of them have like a lot of spacing and pretty small text that's spread out, so you'll read it even faster than you think you will. This one is definitely seeing a little bit more action than some of the other books that we have. You'll notice that there are a few different flaws. This spine is quite heavily creased. It's okay, you know, it's a sign it's had a lot of love. And you'll see that there is a little bit more damage here at the top of the spine. However, inside it's perfectly intact. There's not even really any marks or highlighting in this one. I find it amusing. This is such an old edition that here in the back you'll see that there is an order form if you wanted to write in and buy some of the other books in the series. Yeah, and we do carry the others if you end up reading this one and really wanting to come back to it. Okay. I'm gonna move on to the next one I have here. This is another one that has seen a bit more action. It is A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller. This is one that I was really surprised by when we got it in. Not something that I'd heard of before, but it ended up being really thought-provoking and just a really interesting science fiction novel. It's kind of dystopian, but I actually wouldn't call it a downer in the end. It's a paperback, but it does have the library binding. So you'll see that the spine is taped and it has the marks that have been blacked out on the back. If you're someone that really wants your books to have a uniform look, that might bother you. It's certainly usable, but it does have a little wear and tear here on the bottom of the cover. I don't know if I would want to carry this in my bag all the time. This might be one that I try to be a bit more careful with. I actually think it might be water damage. You can kind of hear from the way the paper makes the sound when you start to move it. But still very readable and still an excellent book. And of course, the condition of it will affect the price. So this would be a really affordable option if you do end up wanting to walk out of here with kind of a lot of stuff. It looks like we're in good condition on the inside here as well. I'm not seeing any marks, certainly no missing pages. I enjoy how in the beginning here you'll see this kind of medieval inspired lettering, which if you do end up reading it, you'll see is really relevant to the topic of the book. This was an early Hugo Award winner, so it's definitely one of the more iconic works in the science fiction world. And like I said, really thought-provoking, had a lot of humor in it, but still was serious and provocative. Okay. So those are not the novels that I have for you, and I'll pull those two that you said that you're definitely interested in. And then I'm going to have us come over to what we had next here, which were the non-fiction books. Let me just sort through what I have here. So the first one that I'm going to pull, because you said that you are interested in politics and philosophy, is a political nonfiction book from a couple years back that was pretty popular when it came out. It is Fear City, New York's Fiscal Crisis and the Rise of Austerity Politics by Kim Phillips Fine. It's called A Powerful and Involving Work of Narrative History. And what this focuses on is the political goings-on within New York City in the 1970s, moving into the 1980s. I would say it's one of those books that makes you consider things that you never really thought about having a history before. It's inciting for sure, and it can be a little bit angering at times. This one is in good condition. I think the worst wearing is on the front cover here by the pages, but it's strictly cosmetic. There's a few pen marks here at the top, but I don't think anything is highlighted or marked up. Now this one has a nice plate of illustrations here in the middle. I'm always a big fan of that with kind of the glossier pages. It just includes some really nice black and white photography. Yeah, it's cool to see stuff that's actually from that time. This one's on the longer side, I think, for nonfiction, about 400 pages, but it's really, really engaging. Okay, our look this up on how to pronounce it before you got here so I wouldn't embarrass myself. We have Jean Baudrillard, and it's just one of his selected writings. I thought this would be good because, as you mentioned, your interest in philosophy, this will give you an introduction to a lot of different topics that he covers. This is another writer that we have a couple of. I think that we also have America in stock, if that's one that you'd be interested in. But I think this is a really good introduction to Baudrillard if you're not familiar with him. Yes, I absolutely love the design of this edition with this neon green and the hot pink. Really nice. What year did they design this in? Yes, this is 88. I think it has a lot of that really nice old fashioned look. Which we'd probably have something to say about maybe in this consumer society chapter here. So even though this is an old book, it is in really nice shape. It doesn't have any spine damage, which I think is really important, and only a slight bit of cosmetic wear and tear on the edges of the pages. A short one, but I will admit, while I like his writing a lot, it's very dense. It's much more formal philosophy than someone might be used to, but I think anyone can learn it, and it is actually really approachable when you get into it. You'll see he has a lot of these formulas, but I think reading his writing is a great way to get an introduction to that formal kind of philosophy without having to actually be in a classroom. Yeah, that's something you mentioned you've been trying to do. Okay, so I will definitely leave that one up for you. Now we just got this in. I would say this is kind of the more fun sort of nonfiction reading. It's not a lot of dense sources, even though it is a history book, and it's more of a layman's introduction to a topic that a lot of people are casually interested in. This is called Mysteries of the Middle Ages and the Beginning of the Modern World by Thomas Cahill. This is a really special edition, I think. Like I said, this is kind of in like new for us. I don't think it's ever been read before because you'll see that the spine is in really neat condition. And these covers again have this nice matte texture that I think improves the durability. A really highly full color volume, both in the design of the cover and within. There's a lot of nice little filigrees on the different pages. I think it has kind of a nice textbook-like layout in here that makes the information really, really easy to digest. And the pages are very strong, very thick paper. Really love this page, the ones that have this down the side. And I believe this is another one that has a full color insert. Okay, it looks like there's actually a number of full color illustrations that are kind of throughout the book. A lot of these really nice tapestries and mosaics. And this is just really fun to read, especially for nonfiction. It's part of this Hinges of History series. I'm not always completely enamored with their historical interpretation. I think it can be a little bit simplistic, I guess, or almost a little too obsessed with the modern and how it would affect the modern, but it's great if you just want to get an overview of some aspects of medieval history and culture. And then the last of the nonfictions that I have here is kind of a midpoint between the nonfiction and the art book that you were interested in. I have a book here about art. This one is Portraits by John Berger. This is a very heavy book, despite being a soft cover. And it's probably heavier than some of these hardcover art books that we have here. And this one is definitely seeing some reading. We have that imperfection in the lower outside corner again, where it gets kind of turned back as people are reading. Then there is some highlighting. That's not always a bad thing to me. I feel like sometimes with a book like this, it can actually kind of guide your reading, especially since this one is on the longer side, around 500 pages, and it covers a lot of different works. Yeah, I really enjoy the covers here. It is, I think, a reference to one of the portraits that are inside. Oh no, for an art book, the only thing that really kind of disappoints me about this is that it is largely in black and white. So, you know, you have, I'm talking about these really rich paintings, but then it doesn't fully come through. But Berger is really amazing. I don't think anyone really writes about art like him. And if you want to understand it better, I think he's a really excellent place to start. Yeah, all different kinds of art, but focusing on portraits. Definitely. Alright, and that brings us to the last couple of books I have for you, and I have 4 different ones here. A couple graphic novels, one that's more kind of just art, but let's give you a look. So the first is a manga by Junji Ito. I think if you wouldn't consider yourself a manga person, it's a great place to start, and if you do have a taste for horror and the darker side of things, I think he's someone that you would really enjoy. This is an adaptation of Frankenstein, but it actually includes a few other short stories. It has this lovely full color cover, which you can't always find with his work. And it is a hardcover, which is another thing that can be a little bit difficult to find. Then, you know, you have to read it backwards, of course. I really enjoy these embossed pages on the inside. You'll see this one is another one that's in excellent condition. I think a lot of our art books and graphic novels are in a little bit better condition because they tend to sit on a shelf. They're not shoved in someone's backpack or anything. You'll see it actually starts, I believe, with one of these side stories. And he just has these gorgeous but very disturbing illustrations. So you may not want to read this one at night. It is a great work, and I just think a really beautiful edition. Alright, let's just keep on trucking. So this is another first in a series, one of my favorite comic book series. This is Transmetropolitan by Warren Ellis writing and then illustrated by Derek Robertson. No, I agree. There has been kind of a reassessment of graphic novels as actual literature, but I think this one's gone really overlooked, and I would say that it's almost on the level of like Watchmen and all of those things. Warren Ellis is really excellent, and I really enjoy these kind of medium-sized softcover comic books. We do have the first 5. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the larger collections. That's something I'd really love for us to get in, but we haven't come across any recently. This just has some really lovely full-color illustrations with kind of that like classic newspapery feel comic book pages. I think this is a really creative work, and I think it's one of the things that I come back to a lot and say they really predicted some stuff for a dystopian work. I think it is one of the sadly most insightful. It's really amusing, but the action is also great. I tend to enjoy some of these illustrations of like the city where it's a little bit more busy. And this was another one, other than the last one that I showed you. Like I said, none of these graphic novels are really gonna have any major flaws. Yeah, I love like when he does his desk and he has like all the trash and everything. This Darren just really excels at these kind of grimy urban scenes. So this one is a bit unusual, and I don't know if it would necessarily be the kind of thing that you would sit down and enjoy, but it is a great thing to have on your shelf. So this is R. Crumb's rendition of the Book of Genesis. And I think he has a reputation, kind of as a pervert, but also as someone that's really irreverent. But I actually think that his rendition of Genesis is very earnest and very moving. It does have, his typical art style of the stocky women, but it still, I think, connects with the moving human parts of these really important stories. Yeah, I think maybe if I discovered this one as a kid, I would have stayed a Catholic. It's just lovely, so rich and dense. I think he just has so much emotion in these like somewhat crude seeming drawings. And this is a dust jacket one, so you can slide this cover off. And then it has this sweet little gold embossed area depicting the serpent, and then on the front, the Book of Genesis, illustrated by R. Crumb. Yeah, and it really is 3D, as you can hear. And you have this sort of nice bound, sort of yearbook quality to it, and light pebbling. Free of any marks or blemishes on the pages. This one's about 10 years, 2009. Okay, yeah, let me just get my dust jacket back on that one. One last book to show you. This is Charles Burns' Black Hole. This is another one of the Touchstone graphic novels. I think that you do see it probably second only to, like I was saying, those Alan Moore works. This one talked about like a piece of literature. And it's another great favorite. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the storyline, but another thing that could be a bit disturbing, although based on what you're requesting, it doesn't seem like you have a ton of problems with that, with these teenagers passing around this kind of disturbing supernatural STD. It's hardcover, which is great, and it's another one with a dust jacket, so let's just slide it out so you can look inside. Something I really appreciate is when a book does not neglect the cover underneath the dust jacket. It has this great illustration that kind of comes up again in the book here on the back. And you'll see the dust jacket does kind of have some areas of imperfection, like here, and a little bit on the corner here. But once you take it off, it has done its job because the book is in really lovely condition underneath. You'll see inside some of these effects of this nasty virus. This one took me by surprise. It's definitely kind of less penetrable, and it's very artsy and very weird, but I think okay, just lasted through this one in a day. So, again, very readable. Yeah, you have some of these like nice darker chapter dividers. I think where they really did well was with this level of saturation. Okay, yeah, so let me just get the dust jacket on this one as well, and then we can go ahead and talk about which ones you would be interested in. Okay, so are there any that you want to have another look at before we do that? Okay, and you want to look at the gunslinger, you're not sure how you feel about the condition that it's in? So I have that one right here. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily be worried about it falling apart, but it definitely has a less pleasant feel to read through than some of the ones that are in a little bit better condition. You do kind of have this creasing here in the back that can be worrying, and the spine is very, very loose. And the pages do have a bit of yellowing as well. Like, you're right. It's really not illegible by any means, but yeah, no, that one is still in print, and it's not very difficult to find copies of it, so that might be one where you go for one of the ones that's in a little bit better shape, and then you seek this out new. Yeah, of course, I can definitely recommend a place if you like to shop in person. Okay, so let's go through. Alright, from the novels, you're going to do In Cold Blood. And did you want to go with the second one? Okay, yeah. You're gonna get T666. Awesome. Yeah, I can't recommend that one enough. Even if you don't end up reading it right away, that's definitely a really worthy addition to any collection. Okay, so you're gonna get one of the non-fictions as well? Okay. And we had You Want to See Portraits Again and The Baudrillard. So, no, I would say that they would actually both be around the same level of commitment. Both are ones that you can pick up and put down, but they're both dense. I know the design. Oh, what would I recommend? That's difficult. I really like both, but since you said you are interested in the art and the art books, I think I would go with the Burger. Yeah, no, I think it will definitely improve your practice as an artist as well. Like I said, that's a heavy one, so I'm glad that we're going to deliver that right to you. And last, you're gonna get 2 of the art books, okay? So you are gonna get Black Hole. That's a great choice. And you wanna do the Transmetropolitan as well? Okay. Would you be interested in any of the other ones? Okay, you wanna do the first 2 just in case you like this one too much? Yeah, we can absolutely do that for you. So let me say 1 and 2. Okay, so we will box those up for you, and then you can give me your address so that we know where to deliver these to. That's in the city? Okay. 19, okay. So we're going to actually have our delivery guy come by and drop that box off for you tomorrow afternoon. Would you be available between 3 and 5? Okay, that works for you? Alright, excellent. And you want to go ahead and give your payment then? Yeah, we can do that in cash. Okay. Cash on arrival. Alright, excellent. Well, feel free to keep browsing around if there is anything else that you want to have a look at, but for now, we will be able to get you your order. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming in. I'm happy to help. All right. Have a great day.